Anyways, I remembered this video. This fucking... Oh, this guy is so cringe. The cringe thing about Actual Justice Warrior is literally that he's like an IDW wannabe, but he doesn't. He's not smart. Like, he's just a... It's just a social thing. Do I also want state mandate? Well, I never proposed the state mandate anything. So what? Why are you assuming? What do you assume? What are you even assuming? It's funny when people don't have gotchas. Like, they think that they're like, oh, this will get you. It's like, no, not really. But yeah. Is Richard Wolff a fringe lunatic? Let's find out.
One of the most annoying things about being in the online political space is dealing with all the communists, all the socialists.
Hold on a second. What the hell? 0.6.
All the Marxists that are online.
You guys hear this?
And that pretend that they don't back one of the most authoritarian ideologies to ever exist. You know these people who embrace all this Marxism.
This guy is you. KJ9797. This guy's you, by the way.
In theory, who talk about how we need to redistribute everything, but then when you call them what they actually are, they say, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not in favor of Venezuela.
He's got Bernie Sanders with a hammer and sickle on his shirt. This is all what those anti-liberals want versus beta uprising and then state-mandated girlfriends. Beta uprising? Why? Who mentioned Jesse Lee Peterson at all? Why do you assume that anti-liberalism is incel? Are you like a Destiny fan? Like, you must be yeah, this must be a DGG person. Yeah, the incels are gonna rise up. Gamers rise up. Oh my god, this kid? Hold on a second. Incel gamer. Video. Where's the video? Where is it? Not this. This isn't what I'm... Made uprising. Where is it? Oh, it's here. The tweet. It's literally a tweet. This kid right here.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but...
Wait a second. What does Destiny get right? Literally what? Name one thing. Of course you like that. I know who you are already. I know what you want. I know what you like. I can read your mind if you're in my chat. What does he get right, anyways? This kid?
None of these female Twitch streamers actually like playing the games.
He's gonna rise. This is the revolutionary subject. He's gonna rise up.
Every single bit of it is acting. You do realize that the original Twitch community was all people who loved to play the games. Now, the Twitch community is made up of big tits that you're coming for the tits instead of the game.
Based.
What the fuck happened to Twitch? Literally. I'll take one for the team. I'll be this asshole male that's calling out all these female Twitch streamers because
you can tell he wants to be train wrecks.
You know what? At the end of the fucking day, to have an OnlyFans advertised on Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch became fun. Yeah, exactly.
It's for fucking video games. You're fucking up the boys' shit.
So true.
This is the only thing we had. The only thing we had. Now we don't even have Twitch because you dumb big-titted fuck.
I wonder how he reacted after Hot Tub section. Yeah.
Thoughts. Want to take it.
I wonder how popular this video was on TikTok.
From us, and then act like you actually like the game.
I feel like TikTok is a hellhole. Like it's not. You
good. Don't like these games. Sit the fuck down.
That kid is gonna rise up apparently, and then there's gonna be state-mandated girlfriends because. Yeah, literally. Yeah, they're ruining the boys' shit. Yeah, the nature of all like masculine insecurity is like incoherent. That's the whole thing about it. it's operating in a framework that doesn't make any sense. But
style socialism,
anyways,
even
this
though
is not
I'm
even
on
what I
record
was trying to talk about this stream.
when Venezuela appeared to be working as supporting their system, I'm in favor of
Yeah,
the
when you become so straight that boobs make you mad. Yeah, exactly.
Scandinavian model, social democrat, not really democratic socialist, even though
Yes, there's obviously a fucking distinction there, dude. But it's not it's not even that great. But yeah, whatever.
I call myself that, and I promote these ideologies all the time on my channels and on the internet. I'm in favor of the Scandinavian system. I want...
Why is he acting like that's so radical? Like, the main cringe thing about this video is that he's acting like that's so radical to be a sock dem when it isn't. Like, internationally, it's not. That's Europe.
more billion...
They're not doing that well, but that's because social democracy doesn't, like... It's not the solution.
Per capita than the United States of America. I want a less regulated economy than in the United States of America. I just want higher taxes on the middle class and a larger welfare state.
The political project of social democracy has already failed in Europe, but that's kind of a different...
I'm so sick of hearing this nonsense, and it's such an obvious, embarrassing lie that you need to look no further than these people's YouTube channels to see that they're lying. And one of the most obvious examples of these people actually being socialists, actually being Marxists, actually being communists...
Okay, so why are you acting like sock dems are so radical, and then you're condemning them for not actually being that? Like,
embrace this authoritarian ideology.
The people who watch this and think they're getting like a political education are like 12-year-old boys. Like, that's the target audience, I assume.
Full embrace of this fringe figure named Richard Wolff. Go to almost any one of these...
He's not that fringe of... He's literally a like... The guy is literally like a celebrity, practically. He's not fringe.
Channels. These lefty channels that say for sure...
This fringe character.
They just want the
fringe Marxist character.
Scandinavian model. They're actually social democrats, not democratic socialists, and punch in the name Richard Wolff and see the overwhelmingly positive coverage that appears on their channel. One of the oldest videos that I found on Secular Talk's channel, you know, the guy who says Bernie's actually the center, he's like an FDR social democrat, he's not a democratic socialist, was interviewing this guy 7 years ago, despite the fact that he is a...
The funny part is this is all true because Kyle Kulinski is smarter than this guy, and he actually has, like, political science education, not to be, like, elitist or anything, but, like... The people who actually know what they're talking about in any given way, like, know that Bernie was not actually, like, Bernie Sanders-ism in America was social democracy for America. It wasn't actually, like, oh, the socialist revolution, guys, it's happening. No, that wasn't. It was a political program within the framework of liberal democracy. So obviously it's going to have to be some kind of Frankenstein entity between the two. That's the... Yeah, but...
fringe socialist figure that is often
Is voting for Biden that important to you that you didn't watch him after he said that? Like, really, dude? Well, especially voting for Biden, like, really, dude? Like, I can't even believe I saw people still debating that after he already won the election. Like, oh my god, like, seriously, like... I'm gonna drop a hot take right now. I literally feel that in 2020, Vosh and Destiny failed as like the left failed in 2020 as well as before that. So
up in order to push this authoritarian ideology. Go to the Rational National, you'll find interviews glorifying Richard Wolff.
It's all a symptom of material failure.
Sam Cedar Show, The Majority Report, you'll find Richard Wolff. All across these platforms, you'll find people embracing this fringe figure who is an absolute buffoon.
It's because he's not that fringe.
And shouldn't even call himself an economist. I mean, he calls himself a Marxist economist, which is an oxymoron, because Marxists don't understand anything about economics, which I'm going to show you later. But the point is that all of these figures that swear up and down that they're not in favor of socialists are backing a socialist economist and citing him as if he is an incredibly wise source on the...
Wow, it's almost like socialists can be correct on things. Wow, what a surprise.
Issues of our time.
Like, this is so dumb. Like, really?
Ridiculous. It's absurd. They throw it in your face and then lie to you about it. And I'm not going to take it anymore. So I'm going to go straight to the source. and take down one of these clips that these people absolutely love about Richard Wolff, which they think shows that he really knows what's going on in capitalism, when in reality, it just shows what a total buffoon this man is and why he should not be called in any way, shape, or form an economist.
You know that in the...
He literally studies it, bro. He literally studies economics, but you're like, oh, he shouldn't be called an economist. I know more about economy than you.
private sector, which is where most of us work, the overwhelming majority. The employer produces some good or some service and sells it into the market.
This is literally about the labor theory of value. I remember this video now. I saw this on my recommended again, and I was like, I have to do this on stream. But this is literally just about the labor theory of value. And he acts like that's such a fringe belief. But, like, what I was talking about earlier, with how, like, marginalist economics and all these schools of economic thought have sprouted out of capitalism as it has developed since Marx's time, in order to justify all of these changes, you know what I mean? It all comes down to eliminating labor from the question of economics and the domain of economics completely. So, he's right in the sense that it is kind of fringe now. But the roots of the labor theory of value, for example, literally come from Adam Smith and David Ricardo, who were economists and economic thinkers who were interested in justifying capitalism. Their perspective on capitalism was that it was amazing. Marx's was more critical. And Richard Wolff literally explains this to people. But there's no, like, the thing about discourse in our postmodern age is that we've lost our sense of history and time. We don't have a memory. We are people raised with no memory. There's no context. When people talk about shit, they don't include any context at all.
And that employer is never, ever going to hire you for $20 an hour unless the following sentence is true. During each hour that you work, you add more to the value of what your employer sells than the $20 he's going to pay you. Or to say it in real simple English, you produce more than you get paid. So if you've said to yourself, if you heard some proud person say, I will never work for anyone who doesn't pay me what I'm worth, you're talking to a person who doesn't understand how the system works. You were never paid what you were worth, and you cannot and will not be in a capitalist system. Why? Because the difference between what your labor adds to the value that your employer sells and what he pays you is his profit, and it's why he's in business.
So for some odd reason, this is considered a profound realization on the left. The Rational National actually did it.
Well, it's just basic, like, actual leftist economic theory, dude. It's not like
an entire video where he praises this specific speech of Richard Wolff, and he uses the clip that I just showed you, because this really lets you know the secret of capitalism. Except this isn't a secret at all. This is how all transactions work in the marketplace. When you buy something, absolutely anything, when you buy it, you are acknowledging that the product that you are paying for, or the service that you're paying for, is worth more to you than the money you are giving up for that product or service. Take the laptop that I've been using to edit my videos for almost about 3 years. Now, the reason I bought this laptop at the steep price of $1,200 is because it could...
Why is he, like, putting it in context of a item he purchased? Like,
do everything that I needed to do in order to produce the work that you see here on this channel. Now, I actually...
Yes, obviously, dude, obviously the technology you're using to work is involved in the production process of anything. Obviously, dude. Obviously that makes it possible. But human beings invent technology, bro.
Made way more money off of this laptop and all of the equipment that you see around me than I actually put in terms of real dollar amounts to that equipment. Because again, the equipment was worth more to me.
This guy joined my chat to defend liberalism. Like, I must white knight for the status quo. Like,
me than the money I gave up for it. Now, according to Richard Wolff, if I applied the same standards that he's applying in terms of labor, which again is traded in the market like any other commodity, to what I did buying this laptop from Apple or this camera from Canon or this Yeti microphone or the lights that are around me, I should be paying them more money because the difference is my profit, and you can't profit off of anything because that's terrible and sinister and
What? Why is he... No, that's not even a, like, smart conclusion to draw from hearing that argument. That's not how it works, dude. That's not surplus value, dude. Someone made that argument to me on Twitter during the Jordan Peterson debacle that I had in his comment section. In his thread. Why do they think that is like a smart, profound thing to come away with? Oh, if I should be paying them more because I get more value out of the thing I bought. What? That's not what we're talking about, dude. What? It's because they think profit is whenever anyone makes any money. That's that's like the, it's too general of an understanding of the term. That's the
exploitative. You see the flaw in this theory? You see why this doesn't make any sense at all? And obviously, if I'm going to hire somebody to do work for me, the work for them is going to be more valuable to me than the money that I pay them. Otherwise, why would I even bother to hire them? On top of that, if I'm somebody who's been taking a job, which I have taken jobs in the past, the reason I take that job is because the money that they're paying me is more valuable than my time at the time to do that job. So
is that the reason though? Is that the reason why people work though? Is it? Is it really? Are you sure? Is it just a trade for your time for money? Oh yeah, we must trade our time for the money. Yes. Is that really a great explanation of why you're doing that? I think not.
I could do nothing, make no...
Alright, bye, Liam.
no money whatsoever, have a labor value of 0, or I could work for somebody...
Thanks, dude. You annoyed my mod. Thank you.
Who offers me something that I'm able to engage with in order to make money for myself and make money for the employer. This is a principle, like a basic principle of trade. The idea that you trade value for value. This is why trade is win-win. But Richard Wolff, the so-called economist, doesn't understand this principle. But don't worry, because even though he doesn't understand this principle...
Understand what principle?
Richard Wolff
what are you talking about?
However, have a labor value of 0, or I could work for somebody who offers me something that I'm able to engage with in order to make money for myself and make money for the employer. This is a principle...
I don't know, I got that impression, I guess.
Basic principle of trade. The idea that you trade value for value. This is why trade is win-win. But Richard Wolff, the so-called economist, doesn't understand this principle. But don't worry, because even though he doesn't understand this principle, Richard Wolff has a sinister tone in his voice that makes you feel really shook and scared.
And if you don't generate that profit for him...
Yeah, he's an effective rhetorician, dude. What's your problem?
He's got no use for you.
He's got no use for you. You see how sinister it sounds?
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of a sinister thing to realize? Like...
when you use that voice rather than talk about it in a rational, logical way, in a way that an actual economist would discuss these topics.
He is one! He is one!
Obviously,
what do you mean by actual? You just mean agreeing with the status quo, dude.
You're not going to pay an employee more than they produce for you because you could just keep the money and you would be better off. The whole point of trade, the whole point of transacting is that you become better off from the transaction.
Yeah, but the world isn't just made of even transactions.
However, there is a giant asterisk, I don't know if you noticed it on screen, in what we're talking about, because there are instances where you do play employees...
Not every relationship, most relationships that exist in society are not even.
...more than they produce for you, and this is when you're basing their pay scale on the expectation of future profits. Something that Richard Wolff, weirdly, the economist, is not interested in whatsoever. Think about it. If you are researching and developing a product that you expect to bring to market something like 10 to 15 years out in the future, you have to pay the employees during the time that you're researching and developing that product.
Wow, no shit.
Now, if 10 to 15 years in the future, when you bring this product to market, it turns out to not be profitable, as an employer, what do? Do you get to claw back the money that you paid in wages to people who actually didn't produce any
Why is he even framing it like that? What?
profit
That's
for
the whole that's part of the whole problem with capitalism in the first place.
you that actually ended up ultimately producing losses for you? No. Does Richard Wolff advocate for you to be able to claw that back?
But why are you viewing it from the viewpoint of the businessman?
Because, you know, it's unfair for the employer to profit off the employee, so shouldn't it be fair to give back the money if the employer took a loss on the employee? No, he doesn't talk about that. These
Why would you even think that?
people are only interested in companies that are already successful. They're not interested in
What?
building anything. They're not interested in the hard road that it actually takes to get to the point where you're successful.
No, we're interested in saying that's part of the whole problem, though. The fact, like,
What they do is they come by after it's already established, after
part of the literally one of the insights of literally like falling rate of profit. Anyone like literally like the whole part of the whole point is because the whole thing is gonna be monopolistic regardless. It will become harder and harder for you to be able to do the things that the bourgeois do.
everything successful and decide that they are entitled to the fruits of other people's labor, that they are entitled to benefit.
The meme Destiny posts about how hard it is to be. Yeah, whatever. I haven't seen that. I don't follow Destiny on Twitter.
From what other people invested in, what
Shit.
other people produced for. And on top of the entitlement, the selfishness, the greed that is a trademark of any socialist ideology, they then go around
Oh,
and
so true, bro. So true. It's all greed. It's all this emotional language. It's sinful, bro. Socialism is sin.
tell the employer when they're successful that all the money that they put into their business when they weren't making money, all the people that they paid to do work for them when they weren't actually turning a profit, retroactively those people were exploited because in the future that product ended up actually making money. Again, when it doesn't work out, when the employer is at a loss, they don't say that the employees need to give back the money to the employer because again,
Why would they? He hasn't demonstrated anything interesting.
at
Why
that
would
point,
they?
labor's a cost like any other cost. But all of a sudden, when you get into when you're actually making profit, then there's the labor theory of value, and they're just stealing that surplus.
Dude. What? He's conflating like profits versus losses with profits as stolen labor. Like that's oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Really? Really, bro? That's obviously two different things. Like that's obviously two different trade-offs. It's obviously two different flows of money.
Labor, that surplus profit from the employee.
So for the American people,
That's obviously not what he's saying if you pay attention.
the vast majority of whom come home every day with a vague sense of having been ripped off at the job, they're exactly right. It's just they haven't had the course yet to be able to understand why they feel that way and why they ought to.
If you have the vague sense or any sense that you are being ripped off by your employer, then do us all a favor, shut the hell up, and go find another job. On top of that, if you don't want to find another job because you'll just be exploited by another employer because you don't understand the principles of trade and how it's mutually beneficial,
Dude, the whole point of Marxism is showing it's not an even trade, dude. Like,
then start your
just actually pay attention to it instead of doing this hack job. Oh, I'm gonna appeal to all the sensibilities created by reactionaries to justify this anti-communist bullshit. Like, yeah.
own business. And if you say, oh wait, I can't start my own business, then I guess the employer was providing you with something that you didn't have on your own in order to produce that value and is entitled to profit